Hello everybody, Andy here again. To vlog or not to vlog? That is the question. What's all this about then? Well, there's been a few videos around recently about why do people do YouTube, why do YouTube, or whatever you want to call it. Why do people make blogs? Why do people put videos up? So instead of sort of posting a response to any of those, I've been thinking about this sort of subject myself for a while now, and I just thought that I'd do my own sort of take on it, because sort of mixing up what a lot of other people have been saying. So the video by Bohem, and there's one by a guy called Neurodi, I hope I pronounced that right, and what was his, I've got it written down, why do I make blogs? He did that about a month ago now, and a couple of points he touched on in his video, which is very worth watching if you're interested in this one and like this one. There was a sort of historical element of it. As you may know, if you've watched any of my videos before, I'm quite interested in the family history side of things, and as I said, I've been thinking about this sort of subject for a while, and the historical point of view and the historical record that we're leaving and the personal record that we're leaving. And a few years ago I read a book about living through the Blitz. I've actually got it here. If I can find it, I'll pass it, I'll show it to you in front of the camera. There it is. Living Through the Blitz by a guy called Tom Harrison. The reason I read that is got an interest in the Blitz in the UK in the Second World War, because my father actually lived in the East End of London at the time, and was a sort of a part-time or a volunteer air raid warden, and used to go around putting out fires. And that's another story which I may tell at another time. So I've always been interested in that, because it sort of wiped out all the complete area where he lived. But I said that's a story for another day. But that particular book was very interesting. A guy called Tom Harrison, and he was involved with an organisation called Mass Observation, which was set up in 1937, I think it was, and ran till about the 1950s, early 1950s. And the idea was to record ordinary people's lives, just the everyday lives of the people like you and me, not these sort of well-to-do, not the traditional diarists that used to write these sort of things years ago, politicians or whoever. The ordinary person. They called it the anthropology of ourselves, and that was the whole idea of it. And obviously it coincided, luckily or whether by design, I'm not sure, with the Second World War. And it got ordinary people. What they did, they got people's diaries, they got sent out questionnaires, they actually had trained observers who used to go around, sit on the bus, sit in coffee houses or whatever, in pubs, bars, whatever it might be, just observe people and write down the minutest detail of what people's lives were like. And that has now been left as a historical record, and you can actually look for it on the internet, and some of the records are stored on it. It's stored by the University of Sussex, down here on the south coast, my area of course, but that's where it was all based. But going to the up to date with that, very recently we had a project called One Day in History, which I've got it written down, the 17th of October this year. And once again, it's another historical thing done over here in the UK, and the idea was to get everybody, or loads and loads of people, as many people as they could in the UK, to do a blog. Up to date now, we're not doing diaries, we're doing blogs. We're now on to vlogs, obviously, and the idea was that everybody who was interested could put their own little blog up for that particular day, that one day in history, the 17th of October this year. Everybody put theirs up, they're sifting through them, and they're all going to be put online. And it's just, once again, it's just the everyday lives of people like you and me, not as with the mass observation thing during the Second World War. This wasn't propaganda, this wasn't people telling you what they thought you should hear or anything like that. It wasn't, there's nothing, no bias in it at all. This is just the ordinary person and what they actually went through during the war, or what people are experiencing today. So I was just thinking, I wonder what it would have been like if you had the traditional diarists from years and years ago, like Samuel Pepys, probably the most famous diarist who lived in the sort of 1600s over here in Britain, and he wrote his diary, which I don't know how many years he wrote that every day religiously. He actually lived, for those who aren't aware, he actually lived through the Great Plague in London in 1660 something, can't remember, and the Great Fire of London in 1667, I think that was. Now, wouldn't it have been amazing if he'd have had a video camera? And he could have gone around like a lot of people do now with a video camera and actually shown us what that was like. And other people, you can probably think of your own people from history, and you'd have thought, wouldn't that have been amazing if they'd have been able to do a vlog like this, put it up on the web, put it onto a site like YouTube or whatever the equivalent was then, or would have been then. Wouldn't that have been amazing? You know, Charles Darwin could have taken his camera to the Galapagos Islands or something like that. Columbus could have taken it across the Atlantic and those sort of things. So it gets your mind thinking. I would just think of this whole YouTube experience, this whole blogging or vlogging experience as well, what it will create as a historical record. As I said, it's just the ordinary people. So we're being watched more and more now anyway, I suppose, by CCTV cameras and that. This is our way of doing it ourselves. We can put our own blogs up there, our own vlogs, we can write them as well as put them on video. I actually prefer the video ones. I did try doing a written blog some time ago and I just couldn't get into it, so I think it's much easier to sort of get up here, write maybe a couple of notes down like I've done for this one, or just as I've done with other ones, just off the top of your head and away you go. I tend to do them more about specific subjects I know, but I'd see other people just talk about their daily lives, and once again it's a nice personal history. It can be used as a family history. You can look back on your own lives in years to come and see what you look like. I've been doing this only for a few months and I've noticed my videos have changed already, so give it a couple of years and I might notice a difference. My children can watch this maybe in later years when I'm not about anymore. It's a record that's going to be there forever, so and any future generations. Say we look back at the mass observation studies that were done during the Second World War, and a great historical record they were. One day in history in October, as I said, a great snapshot of the British way of life on that particular day in this particular year. So imagine what this will be. It'll be a right treasure trove for everybody in years to come. So keep your vlogs coming, keep them going, because as I said, this is being saved for history. So there you go, a nice thought for you. So I shall save this one and I'll give it a look in a few years time and think, oh my god, what on earth was he on about? But hopefully it won't be too bad anyway. Thanks for your time as always. I'll see you again soon. Thank you, goodbye.